Hello, welcome back to Space Engineers. In today's video, we're looking at something very short and very sweet, which you can see is mostly made out of armoured panels. And what's called the Seraphin. It does have a longer name, but I'm not even going to try and pronounce that. But it's just a motorbike to drive around on. It's got a few bits of moving pieces here and there, such as the button on the side can be pressed to lift up and down the kickstand, which sits on that side right there, so you can just lean it over so it doesn't accidentally fall over and perhaps fall off a cliff, pressing that. And there we are, it's now going to slowly tip all the way down, but I can press that once again. And there we are, it's now nice and stable. But yes, this thing, when I saw it on the Steam Workshop page, it's a very unique design because, as you can see, it is just armoured panels, wheels, chairs, and the stuff that actually make it run. It uses a reactor for power, but you can replace that with a battery if you want to do that. It does not need the reactor for power because this thing is very lightweight what it does. And it's just a very stable vehicle to drive around on, and it's surprisingly stable at high speeds. So, pressing F10 and find this is for menu, the Seraphin is not 13,463 large blocks. It's a hell of a lot smaller than that. As you see, there is 73 small blocks, which is a tiny bit different than the number down there. It apparently also uses a hell of a lot of DLC packs, but up here it does use the Wasteland DLC pack for the offset lights. Then up to here it states it's a nuclear-powered motorcycle with a functioning kickstand, which we've already seen. So again, seeing a thumbs up, we move around towards the very front, have a very brief look around the outside, then we'll go through the controls, drive around for a bit, then I believe that'll be that for this video. So over here at the very front, this is what we get for the Seraphin motorbike. And well, as you can see, we've got ourselves our wheel with our compact suspension that goes all the way across on some armoured panels, go up in a diagonal shape, all the way up to the main body where your seat is sitting. Now once we're in the seat, we do have to take control over the remote control block to actually drive it around. It won't be able to do anything until you do that. You just sit there like a lemon. Yes, we see more armoured panels come all the way down across to a platform where the seat is sitting. Behind the seat, we then got our reactor. Over on the opposite side, it's our remote control block. Up there is our gyroscope, one general gyroscope, then the second one is a flip system, so if you do end up on your side or on your roof and can't for whatever reason self-righted, you simply activate that and it'll roll itself over. Down onto this side, here we are, we see ourselves our rotor with a little kickstand, which is once again armoured panels and a silver colouring. Then we see even more armoured panels go across from that rotor towards the back suspension, just acting as the belt that'll move this thing around. Towards the back there's your wheel suspension. Once again, on the back of it, we then got a red light, actually got a brake light. On the very back there, we can see the wheel clipping through these armoured panels. It's perfectly safe at the end of the day, nothing bad's going to happen here. Just looks a bit dodgy when you're looking at it like so. Then moving all the way up and looking down. Past the section, past the rear wheel, there's both your gyroscopes, there's your chair. Towards the front, there's some windows to actually give you a bit of protection from any kind of flies coming towards you. And then there we are, the very front. Move around to the opposite side, there's the spotlights. There's our button for our kickstand. And there's the rear wheel. And then underneath it, there's a sound block, but we're not going to activate that because we'll play some music, so you can just enjoy yourself while cruising around on a planet. But other than that, that's pretty much it for the outside of the Seraphin. And what it is actually quite a great design overall. I've seen plenty of motorbikes in the past, I've done showcases on plenty of motorbikes as well. But this is very unique because it's basically just armoured panels, give it that very minimalistic look, give it that very compact look that separates it from all the other vehicles that they can go for a more blockier design due to the fact it's using steel blocks instead of armoured panels. But for now, I'm going to grab on my character, get inside this thing, here we go. So just in the seats, that's what it looks like. Then we see we press I, come into the control panel, and we're going to have a very, very obvious remote control there. We're now going to take control. There we are, bring out the HUD, and here we are, our controls. So you see on tab number 2, we've got reactor on and off. Then on tab number 1, it's your main controls. We're going to write this thing up. There we are, press number 1. Now just lift up our kickstand. Number 2 is then for your spotlights to turn them on and off. Number 3, number 4 is for your music, but I'm not going to play them. Then we've got number 5, number 6 to control your wheel height if you want to do that. Then 7 and 8 is going to be for your rotors. Once again, don't need to touch that. And then finally, number 9 is your secondary gyroscope to, well, flip the vehicle over if it does end up in a wonky position and you can't self-right it naturally. Of course, we can move this thing around with the other gyroscope. So you've got plenty of control over it at the end of the day. It's time for me to drive this thing around to show you this thing driving. So here we go, high in the HUDs. And we don't really need to keep this thing too stable. It can go up to some quite high speed. So you see there, we are capping out about 45 meters per second, which is the set speed limit for the wheels. And perfectly fine, perfectly safe for basically all terrains. So on his side there, he's just actually sitting in his chair as the motorbike is driving along. First person view, moving it around here, could be quite odd. Well, actually, it looks quite fine from the first person view. Coming back into the third person view, turning around, it can be quite juddery. You do have to counterbalance it with Q and E to make sure you don't accidentally tip over or go too far to actually damage the wheel suspensions. the end of the day, just a glorious thing. It handles very well. And if we come over to some more bumpier terrain, it'll be an even better showcase. And here we go. We should get a little bit of airtime over here, landing myself down. Again, perfectly fine for some light jumps. If you go too high, of course, it is going to damage itself when it comes all the way down. Not too much you can do about that at the end of the day. Just part of the vehicle and just how I handle it. Of course, how fragile it is. That looks very, very bad for me. So I'm going to tip this thing back. Narrowly dodge that, bump off the back wheel. And there we go. It sounds like it did damage something. I've still got full control over this thing. We're now going to come through this little chasm, or this little ditch even. So eventually I can hopefully make my way out. And that looks like a sheer cliff. Will I be able to get up this thing? Not too sure. So here we come all the way up. And it looks like I don't have quite enough speed to actually go and do that, or enough power behind the wheels. Let's go try this one. And it looks like I have damaged a few other bits and pieces. I'm able to just curve this thing around, being very careful about those wheel suspensions. And if I can, get both wheels down. And there we are, and just navigate around. And that's why I like these little tiny bikes. If you get through little areas that big vehicles can't, or small vehicles can't, that allows you to just go on with your adventure instead of trying to find another way out. And that's going to be very bad there. This is going to be probably the end of the vehicle and the end of the video. There we go, just clean sheared off the front of the vehicle. And now there's not really too much I could do, but it looks like I could possibly... No, I just damaged the back of the vehicle. I was going to say I could possibly actually drive it around still. And that's a complete wrong thing. Here we go once again, just go all the way down the mountainside. Then I will end this video. So taking control of it, lifting it up. If I can get into a third-person view, it doesn't really want me to go into a third-person view for whatever reason. There we go. And now hopefully I can work my way all the way down and through this very, very dangerous area. And we're getting too much speed there. We're going to bounce it. And hopefully I can just tip this thing over. There we go. And that'll be the end of this video. Damaging a lot of the armored panels, but still in one piece. And I can still drive this away into the distance. But yes, as I was saying, it's a fantastic little motorbike for what it is. Very, very lightweight with how it's been designed. Very well designed at the end of the day to actually handle this amount of punishment and still survive. And well, if you are interested in actually playing around with it yourself, which I highly recommend doing, there will be a link to it in the description below. Well, I'll be back with another video somewhere soon. Bye bye.